Less than a week after his encounter with Dr. Death, Bruce Wayne learns of a mysterious death of a man called Jones. This hapless fool died after turning purple. Wayne had always suspected that the diabolical Dr. Death had somehow survived the fire. So, in a stroke of bat ingenuity, Bruce pretends to be a reporter and makes a visit to the man's widow. And there, the disguised detective learns more about the victim. It's through the grieving widow that Bruce learns that Jones had lost a fortune in the Great Depression. But Jones happened to be a forward-thinking man and kept a very valuable collection of diamonds. It's here that Bruce's suspicions are confirmed. When Bruce returns at night as Batman, he then infiltrates the house. Dr. Death, meanwhile, is revealed to have survived his encounter through the use of a secret passage. Although he didn't escape unscathed, the fire had left the demonic doctor horribly disfigured, and as a result of his blazing laboratory hideout, this drained Death's resources. So, in a stroke of genius, he dispatches his remaining henchman Mikhail to steal the Joneses' diamonds. Batman then learns of Mikhail's arrival, and he hides before he can enter the room. As Mikhail steals the diamonds, Mrs. Jones enters the room. This forces Batman to interfere and save her life. After knocking out the hired Cossack and waiting for him to recover, Batman decides to tell him. Bruce hopes maybe the thug will lead him back to Death's lair. So, Batman leaves the diamonds in the henchman's possession. After treating Miss Jones for injuries sustained in the scuffle, he tails the henchman to a pawn shop in the city's Bowery district, and later to a cheap hotel. Deciding to look for clues, Batman breaks into the building. The Dark Knight detective locates Mikhail and uses a gas capsule to knock him out. After ensuring the agent has dissipated, Batman begins searching for clues, ultimately being unsuccessful. Mikhail would soon recover and attack Batman, forcing him to flee out of the window. Having left his bat rope hanging outside, the vigilante uses it to swing back towards the window. This causes Mikhail to stick his head out the window. Bruce would lead a well-timed kick, breaking his neck and killing Mikhail. Deciding to return to the pawn shop, Batman deduces that Mikhail had left the diamonds at the business. After tipping off the police, Batman breaks into the building, confronting the owner. Oddly enough, this causes the owner to flee. So, Batman uses his rope to snare the man. The deadly detective learns his captive is in disguise. The man is revealed to be Dr. Death, although by looking at him, you probably couldn't tell because of the fire. After subduing him, Batman leaves him and the diamonds for the police to pick up. He had also left a note asking them to return the jewels back to Mrs. Jones. Is this finally the end of the diabolical Dr. Death? Only time will tell.
Welcome to Bat Signals. This is Jack, and I'm back with the boss, Ryan.
Hello.
We're going to look at Detective 30. This is the first two-parter, basically, 29 and 30, where the first time that Dr. Death, an actual supervillain, battled Batman. Dr. Death. What do you think, Ryan? Was he better in this than in the first one?
I don't think he plays much of a role in here. He definitely looks scarier. I'll say that much. I think he's a bit better now that he has that villainous face.
I like the whole disguises thing that they gave him in this one. Obviously, he's trying to pretend to be dead, so he's gonna disguise himself. But I thought it was a really cool bit at the end when he's the old man, clearly afraid of Batman. Because you remember in the first one, he threw the incendiary device, it blew up his lab and that kind of thing. He was trying to actually do battle with Batman. But here, he just, oh, you're the Batman, I'm gone.
Just tried to run away. Like, what do you really expect? Like, last time, your whole house burned. This time, it's like, what are you trying to run away through a door? It's Batman. I don't get it.
Notice Batman doesn't really know that it's Dr. Death.
Not until his hair falls off, yeah.
I mean, he's suspicious throughout the story that whether or not Dr. Death is alive. When he kills Mikkel, he says, and yet Dr. Death still lives. He's kind of suspicious. He's looking for Dr. Death. Dr. Death was successful enough to hide because Bruce did not know that that was him.
I thought that was interesting. You kind of have to take form at that point, or like take a different approach because he has like no resources anymore, right? Or like he points out, like maybe all his money burned in the fire and stuff like that.
Right, he was definitely desperate for money here. The old woman didn't have any money, and Dr. Death blew it and picked the wrong person. He's like, well, at least she's got gems, and I'll get those. Batman doesn't use a whole lot of gimmicks here. He's got his bat rope going. Does he even have the Batmobile in this one?
No, he's still got that car. They do say this time it's a specially powered car. His specially built high-powered auto.
He's basically building.
Yeah, so I think he's working on the car right now. I mean, it's got a better form than the last one. The last, was it similar or was it like a buggy?
Yeah, the last one was like he was driving Herbie the Love Bug's red brother.
Yeah, so this one actually looks pretty nice. I think it's got tinted windows now, so.
This one's a stretch limo type.
Yeah.
This you could see becoming a Batmobile.
Yeah.
Stretched out, it's got a huge hood. So I assume that that's one powerful engine. That's what they meant by souped up. And the artwork here has gotten a lot better. I like the scene when he's jumping over the wall, pulling the cape up to his face.
That's my favorite picture right there, is because they're very hidden and they use the cape very well too.
The question that we were trying to answer on this particular segment of Bat Signals with this run of issues, did Batman need to be lightened up? So to make that argument, first you do see a Batman with compassion, right? He's compassionate to the old lady. She faints. She's given up her gems. The gems she only has because the husband collected gems before he died, basically as like a retirement for her, I would think.
Yeah, I figured so.
And so you see Batman's compassion there. You also see him yet again murder the henchman of Dr. Death. This time it's a Cossack, not an Indian. He's got the whole Cossack, got the little red Shriner hat. He's got the purple cape. He definitely looks like he's a Russian. But Batman literally snaps his neck. He just fired at Batman. He's looking at a window. Batman swings in, kicks, and breaks his neck. Clearly intentionally killing him.
That caught me off guard. The first time he throws him out the window and he's knocked out and he's like, okay, he'll wake up. He's fine. So I thought, okay, maybe he'll just follow him, he'll subdue him and then interrogate him. But the next time we see him confront this guy is after he jumps out of the window and then comes back to snap his neck.
Batman lures this guy. He wants this guy to show him where Dr. Death is. So that's why he makes sure he lives through the first ones. But then the guy doesn't end up going to Dr. Death. But Batman finds the fence for the jewels through this guy. And as soon as he's found it, he just kills him. This is
interrogations, nothing.
It's like he's got his information, now you're dead. And that's very not Batman of today. When it comes to Dr. Death, it might have been wise for him to just run away, knowing that this Batman might have done the same thing to him.
Yeah, no, it's very possible. I'm surprised he didn't actually kill him because, yeah, after he kills the guy, he just says, a phone call to the police will do fine. Now I'm gonna go visit Ivan. Like, okay, so you're gonna call the police for the dead body and then call the police after you subdue the. Why couldn't you just subdue? This is the real villain here. You should have killed him, not
right. This
not
is
the henchman.
Guy. This is the guy that's the real threat. The henchman is just working for him. The fourth story, and we know that there's 7 more stories until Robin shows up in 38 when they purposely lighten this character. Do you think his pointing out the irony of Dr. Death surviving while the henchman doesn't is a beginning of lightening the character?
I didn't really read it as that. I more saw it as like a backhanded comment towards the dead guy. I'm not gonna lie.
It might very well have been.
Yeah.
I mean, this is in film noir. We talked about this before, but in film noir, often the detective kills the bad guy. This is not out of the ordinary. It's an intentional killing too. Most of the time in Dick Tracy, it's not, but he does it too. Superman doesn't do this because Superman is Superman. Batman is behaving in a much darker manner. But here's the big question. Did you like this story?
Yeah, I'd say I definitely liked it. You can see the art getting better throughout all of the issues, especially because this is only what, you said the 3rd issue?
Yeah, the 4th.
Oh, okay, the 4th one. Yeah, no, the art is definitely getting better. They're getting his character and form down. I still think the ears are a bit big, but I mean, he's supposed to be a bat, I guess.
That's giving him somewhat of a vampire look too.
Yeah.
I think they did a terrific job to end a two-part story, their first two-part story. It moved really well.
Yeah.
It also seems like you could have put this 5 issues down the line. This could have been Dr. Death's return. He could have had 3 or 4 cases in between this, and it still would have worked.
Oh, yeah. I'd say out of 10, I'd give the story itself, well, if we're grouping them together because it's a two-parter, I'd say overall I'd give it like a 8 out of 10. The flow of the stories, so I definitely like it. I give it a thumbs up.
Atomic batteries to power.
Turbines to speed.
Let's move them out.
Atomic batteries to power. Turbines to speed.
Roger, ready to move out.